Aloha everybody and welcome to part 3 of Pac-Man World, and today we're taking on the H.M.S. Windbag, which is the boss of the Pirate Land levels. In this part, ladies and gentlemen, he's shooting a whole bunch of cannonballs that are destroying the dock that you're running on, and this is all bottomless pit that will cost you an extra life, so you gotta be careful. Just hold right, because you can still go up and down and move in a 3D kind of movement and go up there, which is bottomless pits. You don't want to do that. At this point, you want to start jumping for the green barrels because they're always at the edge of the platform, and taking your time to make a small hop onto a green barrel and then moving on, you know, that could easily screw you up and you could fall in the pit, and that'd be that. But now we're coming to the actual boss fight proper, and now he's going to keep shooting 3 cannonballs at a time, and there are switches that pop out, and when you step on, or butt bounce, the switches, they put up this little target parachute sign thing that, you know, hits the cannonballs right back at the pirate ship. And it doesn't matter where it hits, whether it's the sail, whether it's the back of the boat, it will still count as a hit, and it will still deal out good chunks of damage. Again, it has to be pretty much in time. The buttons, they spawn, and then they go away pretty quickly. And, like, the sign that you put up to bounce the cannonballs back at it will also disappear pretty quickly, so you are timing it just for when the cannonball's about to hit you. But again, as first bosses go, that one's pretty tame, and it's really nothing compared to all the other bosses that we're going to be seeing later down the road. Oh, H.M.S. Windbag, he's a pleasant boss in comparison to the others, believe you and me. But good news, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for Pirate Land. We're done here. We can move on to a new world. And there's Puka. Why are you wasting your time? Our friends are in trouble. Go get him! Yeah, go back to Dig Dug, you stupid little bastard. I like fighting Pukas in Super Smash Bros. Smash Run for 3DS. You always get like a whole bunch of Pukas all together, and they all like inflate like balloons and like burst on each other, and then there's just a chain reaction of death. Sorry, I've been enjoying Smash Brothers quite a bit. That's also why it's taken a while for me to do Mr. Mosquito's extra video and Mega Man CX's extra video. I swear I've been recording it. I know I keep saying this, and I admit I'm lazy, but you know. I got life and stuff, kids. I promise it'll happen. It's like my Scott Pilgrim reference video. You know, I finished my Scott Pilgrim vs. the World LP back in 2011 or so, and I said I was going to make a video showcasing all the various video game references that were in Scott Pilgrim. And then it didn't happen, and then it didn't happen, and then it didn't happen. And then finally, just in time for Christmas, I got it. I finished it. And I was like, yeah. And then the comments were all just like, I think this thing is a reference to this, and I think this thing is a reference to this. And it was just like, okay, whatever. I'm working on it. But now that we're out of Pirate Land, we are in the new world, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the caves, this is the ruins, this is the part volcano kind of world, and it's got darkness, and I don't really like darkness in platformers most of the time, but I think in Pac-Man, it's not such a big deal. Like, oh god. It's also got traps. Traps that Indiana Jones would not fall for. But Pac-Man would, because I'm an idiot. And the player is the one who makes Pac-Man as smart as he's able to be. But I digress. This place has a whole bunch of darkened areas, and again, because this whole game still has the camera being in one part of the room, and it's always facing one direction, and you're never really from behind Pac-Man. It's never from like a third-person, over-the-shoulder perspective, you know? I find the darkness isn't really that big of a deal, because you're never in a bottomless pit territory when it's super dark. And all you're really doing is watching out for spiders, watching out for traps like this, where if you step in the middle of the platform, a rock will fall right on your head and damage you, and you don't want that. But you can hit the platforms and be to the right of it. You just can't be dead center in the middle. If you brushed like the very edge of it, you could still dodge the rock and make it out okay. So it's not really a lost cause situation. Here with the lava, you can see the black ash marks that's where the magma rocks are always going to be landing on, so you don't really have to worry about that. If you land in the lava, you won't just bounce out like in a Super Mario 64 type game. If you fall in the lava, that's it. You waste a life. That counts as a bottomless pit. That will be the end of Pac-Man. So obviously, don't be stupid. Don't fall in the lava. Be a competent human being and do what other competent human beings would do and not jump in lava. I saw Terminator 2 and Arnold Schwarzenegger jumped into lava. He was okay. Well, sorta. And the Terminator died. Spoiler. But he gave a thumbs up. That's how I know it didn't hurt. Terminator gave the thumbs up. Therefore, I can do it, Mom. Oh god, I keep getting hit. But of the traps, there's also the square ones we saw with the boulders, and there's also these stalagmite kind of rocks that will fall down on you that actually drip water before they do, and they're always dripping water on this one solitary square platform thing. So you know that if water's dripping and there's a square little indentation, chances are there's a stalagmite that's going to fall on you if you approach that kind of area. And you can also psych it out too. Like, if you come up to it and then back away, the stalagmite will fall, but then you can back up but like make the next move, you know? It doesn't really take that much of a hitbox. You can just have to be in the general area and the stalagmites will fall, so you don't have to be too close to it. You don't even have to really back up. As long as you just tiptoe super close to it, the rock will fall because the rocks are sentient in Pac-Man land. They just know that yellow Pac-Man's here and they know to drop on him. I also jumped over that little thing. There's this little wood circle that also shows up every now and then, and you can actually stand on it and the wood will crumble and fall apart, and then you'll fall directly underneath wherever the wood circle is. So that's why I'm always jumping over those parts, because if you stand on it too long, it crumbles, and then I had to go back a floor, and I had to reclimb everything, and, you know. Why would I want to do that? All we want is progress, damn it. We gotta save our Pac friends, defeat Big Bad Talkman. Why didn't Talkman have a trophy in Super Smash Bros.? The 3DS and Wii U versions, they all reference the original arcade game, but they don't reference anything from the Pac-Man World games. What about Spooky the Ghost from Pac-Man World 2? What about Professor Pac? Because, yes, I now know he's not Grandpa Pac-Man, he is Professor Pac. Hence the scholarly hat and the mustache, because he's a professor, you see. I'm sure I always knew that once long ago, but, you know, I'm not a die-hard Pac-Man aficionado. Although I was surprised to hear a long time ago that Pac Jr., the kid Pac-Man that we save in this game, he actually has a game. You know, I've always heard of Ms. Pac-Man. Everyone knows about Ms. Pac-Man, but I didn't know there was a Pac Jr. arcade game. When I found that out, I was like, really? That's crazy. But, you know, Pac-Man's quite the storied series. There's a whole bunch of games. Whether they're puzzle games like Pac Attack, whether they're pseudo 3D maze games with the jump ability and way more ghosts like Pac-Mania, whether they're the same thing as Sonic Boom and Crash of the Titans, where they reimagine Pac-Man and change it up and make it more for kids, like Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. I don't know. Never played Ghostly Adventures. Never played it. Although, on Xbox Live right now, it is literally $5, so I wonder if I should, and then get back to everyone on this LP and tell everyone what I think of Ghostly Adventures. Because Pac-Man has an Xbox Live sale going on right now. Now you're all going to tell me, yes, if it's $5, buy it. Or hell, I'd probably just do it anyway. I just played Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Let's play another generic kids platformer, why not? I mean, it could be. I don't know. It could be great. I don't know. I like this one. And you could see this as being a generic platformer or whatever. Or either way. So here I'm using Metal Pac-Man to open these chests. There's a Galaxian icon. The great thing about Metal Pac-Man, not only do you sink all the way to the bottom of the ocean, and you can break chests and stuff, but it's also used for situations that are a little bit more perilous. Because when you're Metal Pac-Man, you do not get damaged. I mean, bottomless pits still kill you, obviously. You don't want to fall in a place you can't come back from, but when it comes to, like, falling rocks, ghosts, any kind of enemy, when you're Metal Pac-Man, nothing hurts you. But it is still a delayed, time thing. It will go away after a while. It doesn't stay on you forever. But it's just worth mentioning that when you are Metal Pac-Man, nothing hurts you, baby. Nothing hurts you. I don't know who's dropping all these metal pack pellets, but good for them, because those metal pack pellets can save you in a pinch. Good stuff. So this is when the mazes start getting a little bit harder, because now we're not only having to deal with the fact that the 4 ghosts are chasing us, but generally there's always going to be a hazard in each of the mazes now as well. So you'll always see these cracked squares, and you'll always see that every now and then a rock falls on those cracked squares. It doesn't matter if you step on a switch or anything, it's always going to be in a set period of time where the rock falls. So I'm sort of training Pac-Man, or I'm controlling Pac-Man to, like, waver from left to right, going back and forth, because I don't want to... He's always running in the mazes, is another thing. It's the same as the original Pac-Man. If Pac-Man is going in a direction, you can't stop him in mid-direction. If you want to stop him from going to the right a little bit, you have to go left, but then he's just going to keep going left. So if you want him to stay in place in one particular spot, you're going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Just like the original arcade Pac-Man, unless there's some magical hidden button I've never heard of. Which would be fucked up, because, I'm 26 years old, I think I've been familiar with Pac-Man all my life. If there's a button to stop him, well, holy Christ. That would blow my friggin' mind. But, anywho, you gotta dodge the rocks. And the weird thing is, you don't want to eat a ghost on top of those parts either, because if you eat a ghost where the rock falls, the only thing that gets stopped is you and the ghosts, but everything else keeps happening. So the rocks will not be stopped by time; they will still fall. And if you ate a ghost on a contraption where there was no rock at the time, simply the delay of you eating that ghost and him turning into a pair of eyeballs, the rock could hit you, and then you kind of take damage. And it's kind of bullshit, but it's like, just don't eat ghosts at those particular spots, and you'll be okay, But either way, that's the first ruin level, and the next one is the second one, and then it's just the boss fight, because this world... I want to say it's shorter, but it's not really shorter, because the second level's kind of big. But, we got the Pac-Man letters, which means we're going to do a bonus stage. We're going to keep levitating and dodging the steam, and... Okay, I didn't dodge a steam. I'm dead. I came in there, that bonus stage, with one hit, and I was done, and then I got hit, and then I was done. So, yeah. And that, I don't think that costs you a life. Maybe it does. Maybe that does actually take away from your overall life counter. But it's a bonus stage, so I think maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Point is, you die in a bonus stage, you get kicked out immediately, and that's all you need to know. But anywho, that was the first Ruins level. Stay tuned for part 4, ladies and gentlemen, where we go to the second one. Till then.